all roads lead to Cam Ward.
We got Cam Ward, number one.
Cam Ward's going to be the first name that we hear.
Yeah. He can do it all. Yeah. That's why we're talking about him being like maybe the first quarterback take. Cam Ward is my number one quarterback.
If you're Tennessee, you're going to take Cam Ward, or you're going to trade the pick for somebody else to come take Cam Ward.
Is Cam Ward worthy of the first overall pick?
I think I do deserve it.
I don't believe there's a ton of mystery as to who the Tennessee Titans will select with the number one pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. It's not directed by Mike White.
Come on!
There is very little intrigue at number one overall. It's Cam Ward. Any other outcome would be a major upset when there's a quarterback-needy team picking first overall with a consensus top quarterback available. Even the Jaguars got that one right with Trevor Lawrence in a draft where 4 other quarterbacks went in the first round. There are always QBs in the NFL draft who come with a certain level of familiarity. Sometimes it's because of the program they played for, sometimes it's because of a viral throw at the combine, and sometimes, like in Cam Ward's case, it's because they've done enough over 5 seasons through 3 programs and nearly 60 college starts to demand your attention and respect. Also, there was a pretty cool throw at his pro day. Cam Ward isn't just one of the top quarterbacks in the 2025 NFL Draft. He's the top quarterback, even if that's not saying a ton this year. His path has been anything but ordinary. From an overlooked Texas high schooler in a run-heavy offense to a record-setting college QB, now close to locking in with the number one overall pick, Ward's rise has been slow, steady, and peaked at exactly the right time for him to become the first guy off the board later this month. And yet, for all of the certainty that he will be the first name off the board, Cam still manages to be one of the most debated names in the draft class. Some scouts see Mahomes' light traits. Others worry about his sidearm release, red zone inconsistencies, and tendency to play hero ball. He's far from a perfect or generational
talent. I'm a proven right
type prospect, but he's got more than enough to set himself apart from the rest of the class. He will be number one.
He was number one!
And I believe he will be a Tennessee Titan, but should he be? The last Cam to go number one overall was a pretty great choice.
Perna, Ray. Who the fuck is Perna?
Today, we go balls deep into Cam Ward. We are less than 5,000 subscribers away from 725,000. Again, we're trying to hit that number before the NFL Draft. Today's episode is sponsored by Element. Element is a zero-sugar electrolyte drink mix and sparkling water aimed at helping you stay hydrated and hitting optimal sodium levels. Each pack has a perfect dose of electrolytes, free of sugar, artificial colors, all the stuff you don't want in your body. I was just on a mini vacation with the family for my wife's birthday, and as one does when the responsibilities of work are thrown out the window, I consumed the types of drinks you don't really want to be overdoing. So, I started every morning with a pack of Element in my bottle of water. Yes, even before I got my coffee to help hydrate me for the day. I dumped a ton of Element in my travel pack with my toothbrush, and I'm glad I did so I could rehydrate every morning. Now there's a bunch of flavors you can try: orange, grapefruit, citrus, raspberry, my favorite, chili mango. All are in the free sample pack, which you will get with any purchase as long as you use my link and only through my link below at drinkelement.com/TGS. Again, you only get the free sample pack with my link, and that's for new or current customers. You can try Element risk-free. If you don't like it, they will refund your order, no questions asked. I actually found the laziest sports take ever, and it comes from LaShawn McCoy in regard to old Cam Ward. Young Cam Ward.
And there's no disrespect to Cam, but I'm not sure if I'm all the way sold on Cam Ward. I don't know, dog.
Why not?
There's been a lot of bust in these drafts, right? That got a lot of attention. I've never seen a player have 0 stars in high school be the number one pick overall.
Thank you, LaShawn McCoy. You've had 2 full months to form an educated opinion on Cam Ward, and all you could come up with was, I've never seen a 0-star recruit go number 1.
I didn't have any stars. No star, no offer guy out of high school.
The over 1,000 emails that weren't answered.
Josh Allen didn't go number 1, but he was a 0-star recruit, and he's pretty fucking good. Devin Witherspoon, 0-star recruit. Pretty good first-round corner.
So high school stars. It's talent.
You played the game, Shady. Why was Cam Ward a 0-star recruit? If that's something you've never fucking seen, wouldn't you want to find the answer to that question to share with your audience via the sports show you were paid to supposedly have insight and contribute to?
So high school stars. It's talent.
This guy has an incredible amount of arm talent, really fun player to watch.
He's an elite level passer.
A 0-star to a 5-star.
Even worse, you're missing the mark so severely here, it makes me want to puke. He was a 0-star recruit because of the offense his coach ran in high school. It took me less than 3 minutes to understand that. ESPN did an entire feature on him, and it starts off with that. Once you know that, you negate your own dumb observation about talent because this kid worked his ass off and performed in every opportunity he got. He's a wildly impressive success story, and you, a former player, shit on the best thing about him. He's literally risen to every occasion as a QB and athlete. So let me tell you, the professional on television, about Cam Ward, Mr. Shady. Cam Ward grew up in West Colombia with Pablo Escobar.
Un día yo voy a ser presidente de la República de Colombia.
Sorry, West Colombia, Texas. There's a Paris, Texas, and a West Columbia, Texas, and a Miami, Texas? What the fuck isn't in Texas? Oh yeah, rising educational scores. Anyway, Cam Ward played high school football at Columbia High. The problem?
Played in the wing T, so I did. Yep.
Columbia ran a wing T offense. If you know anything about the wing T, you know it's not built for quarterbacks to shine. It's Bill Belichick's wet dream is what it is. Ward averaged just 12 passing attempts per game and barely cracked 1,000 passing yards his senior year. His numbers didn't jump off the page, and neither did his recruiting profile because there wasn't one.
This is a guy that started off as a 0-star recruit.
Was a 0-star recruit.
He ended his high school career with exactly one college offer. The University of the Incarnate Word, a small FCS school in San Antonio. That's it. No FBS interest, no Power 5 looks, just a single scholarship, which he accepted without hesitation.
UIW, Coach Morris, they blessed me my first scholarship offer. That was all I needed.
The irony? The quarterback who would go on to break FBS and FCS touchdown records couldn't get a sniff from Texas Tech, Houston, or any of the in-state programs that now wish they'd look just a little harder. It also goes to show just how much of a marketing game that recruiting is. There are quarterbacks out there who haven't branded themselves or marketed themselves correctly, and teams miss out on potential starters because of it. Cam Ward was one of those guys.
I'm not a big rah-rah guy.
Ward didn't sit long once he got to Incarnate Word. He became the starter as a freshman, albeit during a weird spring 2021 season due to COVID delays, but he immediately lit shit up. In just 6 games, he threw for 2,260 yards and 24 touchdowns to just 4 picks, winning the Jerry Rice Award as the best freshman in the FCS. Sometimes all it takes is going from the wing T to an air raid system where you're able to throw the ball 30 or 40 times a game. Kinda makes you wonder how many good quarterbacks are being missed simply because their high school football coach is a cliche trapped in the 1970s.
We do things around here my way. You understand that?
In his second year, he took things to a new level. 4,648 yards, 47 touchdowns, and Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year honors. The buzz was building, and not the way a buzz builds for most college dudes. By the end of 2021, Cam Ward was arguably the best quarterback in the FCS, and the FBS came calling. Isn't that great? They can just poach whoever they want. Anyways, he hit the transfer portal and eventually chose Washington State following his incarnate word head coach Eric Morris, who took the OC job in Pullman. It was a major jump in competition, and it did not faze him. Ward's time at Washington State didn't come with the same fireworks as his FCS days, but it did come with growth. In 2022, he threw for over 3,200 yards and 23 touchdowns. In 2023, he upped that to 3,735 yards, 25 touchdowns, and added a team-high 8 rushing scores. The Cougars didn't win a ton. They went 12-13 across his 2 seasons, but Ward improved in key areas: accuracy, decision-making, and operating in a more complex system. It's very similar to what we saw Bo Nix and Michael Penix do in the Pacific Northwest. Just get better every year. By the end of 2023, he looked ready to make the NFL leap. He even declared for the draft initially, until a reality check from scouts had him trending as a day 2 or day 3 pick. So Ward made a strategic decision. Strategery.
I said strategery.
He'd come back for 1 more year, transfer to a Power 5 contender, and put a final exclamation point on his resume, which was smart, because my resume was filled with typos and mustard stains. And that explains why I'm right here right now. His destination? The University of Miami, Florida, not Miami of Ohio. Ward's lone season at Miami was electric. He threw for 4,313 yards, 39 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions, setting school records for both yards and touchdowns. He led Miami to a 10-3 record, earned ACC Player of the Year honors, won both the Davey O'Brien and the Manning Awards, and he even finished 4th in the Heisman Trophy voting. It was the best quarterback season the Hurricanes had seen since Ken Dorsey. I'm starting to realize those great Miami teams never really had a star quarterback, did they? What I love about Ward is he keeps the football out of harm's way, and he's done it his entire college career. 3 different schools, and he's averaged 7.4 picks per season. Ward also became the all-time combined FBS and FCS leader in career touchdown passes, 158. But even as the numbers soared, he was still being picked apart by scouts. Some questioned his mechanics. Others didn't like that he sat out the second half of the Pop-Tart Bowl, a 42-41 loss to Iowa State after throwing 3 touchdowns in the first half. More alarming than that, he said his favorite Pop-Tart flavor is anything unfrosted. What kind of sick fuck chooses unfrosted Pop-Tarts?
Brown sugar cinnamon, it's only good when you heat it up.
Cam!
I'm really over it at this point.
Unforgivable. Still, his play spoke the loudest. Ward not only proved he could lead a major program, but he did it while showing a new level of polish, running Miami's offense with rhythm, anticipation, and situational awareness that hadn't always been on display in Pullman. I like that he entered the season with expectations that he might become the first overall pick and did nothing but confirm them.
I wake up and I tell myself I'm the best player in the country every day.
I think that says a lot about a prospect when they can live up to that kind of burden. And he solidified that notion at the Combine through interviews alone.
No, I'm not going to throw here. I think, 5 years of film showcase everything I can do.
Ward's arm is legit. He throws with velocity, can change speeds, and rips passes from multiple angles, especially from the sidearm slot he favors. He can fire into tight windows 25 yards downfield and fit balls into seams with anticipation. I'm sorry, but it's just hard to say fit balls into seams with anticipation and not laugh like a fucking child. While his mechanics aren't always textbook, his arm talent lets him get away with it more often than not. I'm gonna get it back. He's not a dual threat QB in the mold of, say, Lamar Jackson, but Ward has real mobility. He avoids pressure well in the pocket, can extend plays, and picks up yardage when the play breaks down. His footwork is elusive, especially on rollouts and broken plays, and he rarely takes unnecessary sacks. Ward's ability to feel pressure is one of his strongest traits. He bobs and weaves around the pocket like a shortstop, buying time without bailing prematurely. When he keeps his eyes downfield, he's deadly. That said, he does occasionally drift into trouble trying to make something out of nothing. But this is where he's grown the most. At Miami, Ward looked much more comfortable reading defenses before and after the snap. He manipulated safeties, identified blitzes, adjusted protections, and worked through his progressions. He occasionally locks onto seam routes, a safety blanket, but he's improved as a rhythm passer and shows creativity even when within structure. Ward isn't without flaws.
All I do is fish and play the video game, so.
Now, some scouts point to his inconsistent footwork, especially when syncing his dropbacks with his reads. His sidearm delivery, while flashy, can cause placement issues, especially on short to intermediate throws. He also still has a tendency to hunt big plays when a check down would do. That hero ball instinct, while fun to watch, can get him in trouble, especially against NFL disguises. Take this throw, though, against Cal. It's 1st and 10 with nearly a full half left, and he makes this throw across his body that gets predictably intercepted. There's just no reason to do this. This is the stuff he's got to figure out if he wants to become a top-tier NFL QB. The other thing about Cam Ward, he and his team eventually erased a 25-point deficit and won this game in Berkeley. There's some bad and there's a lot of good, but we have to acknowledge the flaws, right? I wish we didn't have to. It made my life a lot easier. He also struggled in the red zone, completing just 39% of his passes inside the 20 per PFF. That's going to matter in the NFL, where spacing is tighter and windows close faster. If Tennessee takes him, he's going to have to throw against an insanely stacked Texans secondary twice a season. And while Ward doesn't throw many interceptions, some of his turnovers are head scratchers. Crossfield, off-platform heaves that never really had a chance. That's never something you want to see, but the idea is that kind of stuff can be reined in by coaching. We all know that coaching really helped Will Levis rein that shit in last year. Ward's stock is red hot. He's currently projected to be the first quarterback off the board, with many mocks placing him at number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans. That buzz only intensified after his impressive pro day, where Titans head coach Brian Callahan, fresh off of developing Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, praised Ward's maturity, arm, and personality. Quote, "I like confidence," Callahan said. "You can tell he came from a really good family. He's fun to be around. He's also serious and focused. He wants to be great." Are you saying Will Levis isn't serious and focused, Brian? How dare you? That combination of charisma, talent, and football IQ is why Tennessee seems ready to make him their franchise quarterback. For a team that's lacked a true star QB since Steve McNair, and maybe you can count Vince Young, I think they're going to be running to the podium to make this pick. I said this about Jackson Dart, but when you need a quarterback in a QB-poor draft, I think it's better to gamble on elite traits and upside, knowing you can live with the outcome even if it's bad. If Tennessee blows it with Ward, well, shit.
Right up yours, Tennessee! Fuck you!
They might just land themselves a first overall pick again and have a chance to take Arch Manning in 2026. I think that's the mindset a lot of these teams should have when it comes to reversing their fortunes, and the Titans have been the team in free-for-all for a few years now. So do it, Tennessee. Bet big on a talented guy like Cam Ward. He'd fit well there, too. Brian Callahan runs a QB-friendly system that asks for intelligence, quick reads, and the ability to create when plays break down. All things Ward excels at. It obviously didn't work for Will Levis because that disaster gene was too beautifully prominent. Ward might have a level of chaos in his play style, but it's overshadowed by all of the great creative things he can do when the play devolves into backyard-style football. And he doesn't put anything weird in his fucking coffee. In terms of comps, Ward draws comparisons to Deshaun Watson, pre-injury and pre-other stuff, because of his blend of structure and improvisation. If you squint hard enough, you might even see shades of early career Patty Mahomes. Not the superhuman arm, but the awareness and the field control. You know, that's a really lofty comparison, but you have to be squinting really hard. Are you squinting? The floor, he's probably a better version of Drew Lock. Someone with the tools, but who needs real coaching to clean up the risk-taking. That might be a horrifying thing to hear if you're a Titans fan coming to grips with Ward leading your team, but you have to keep in mind this is one of those things that comes with owning the first pick in a poor quarterback draft. You're still taking a pretty big gamble, but Cam Ward is the best QB prospect in this class. That doesn't mean he's perfect. He's not, but when you balance the traits, the production, the experience, and the upside, no one checks more boxes. He's played in 57 games across 3 levels of competition. He's learned 3 systems. He's thrown for over 18,000 yards, and he's still improving. From a 0-star high school recruit just like me to potentially the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, unlike me, Ward's path to the NFL is already one of the best stories in recent memory. Now he's going to be tasked with taking a team in dire need of star power and in need of a new identity and trying to give them some of that because they are dog shit. Down bad. They've been down bad. You can save them, Cam. You can save them. The days of Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown are firmly in the rearview mirror for the Titans. They're essentially starting from scratch. And the first year with Brian Callahan calling the shots was inconclusive at the very best. I don't think it's going to be a quick rebuild, even with Cam Ward and even in that cupcake division. But Ward seems like the guy who's going to stick it out with poise and get better every single year. I wouldn't count on a Rookie of the Year type season in Tennessee with that supporting cast or lack thereof, but I think they can develop him into a franchise quarterback. One they haven't had in a really long time. Go Hurricanes! Thanks for watching. That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube if you like football and football videos. I'll be making lots of football videos for you. So, subscribe. And like the video. Like it.